Good day everyone, and also to you sir. By the way, I am Mark Anthony Valyar Barasyon from Bunbun, Sagay, Camigan Province, based criminology, second year student. So today, I'm going to tackle about the chapter 2, nationalism and patriotism. What is nationalism? Nationalism is an ideology and movement defined by promoting the interest of a particular nation in maintaining the nation sovereignty over its country of origin. Nationalism contains that each nation should self-regulate without outside intervention, that a nation is the natural and ideal political foundation, and that the nation is the only legitimate source of political authority. Nationalism also emphasizes loyalty, devotion, or allegiance to a nation or nation state, and holds that such as obligations outweigh other individual or group interests. Nationalism aims to preserve, promote a country's traditional culture and cultural rivals have historically been linked to national movement. It also instills a sense of belonging in the home, and it's strongly associated with patriotism. So that is the nationalism. So there are 14 types of nationalism. First is ethnic nationalism, civic nationalism, expansionist nationalism, romantic nationalism, cultural nationalism. Six is third world nationalism. Seven is liberal nationalism. Eight, religious nationalism. And nine is fan nationalism. 10 is diaspora nationalism. 11 is stateless nationalism, national conservatism, and last number 14 is left-wing nationalism. So first, types of nationalism. Nationalism can be expressed in many forms, including civil, ethnic, cultural, religious, and logical. First types of nationalism is ethnic nationalism. Ethnic nationalism is defined by the shared belief in the relationship between nation and state. An example of ethnic nationalism is a certain group may believe that due to their common ethnic or racial origin, members have the same ancestors and can be regarded as a relatives. Civic nationalism. Second, civic nationalism. Civic nationalism is the development of national identity for a state rooted in egalitarian post-enlightenment concept emphasizing humanity. Civic nationalism, on the other hand, emphasizes the procedural aspect of democracy, and through its stress on liberal constitutional values. Expansionist nationalism. Expansionist nationalism is an aggressive, radical form of nationalism or ethnic nationalism that incorporate autonomous, hidden ethnic consciousness and patriotic sentiments with atavistic first and hatred focused on other or foreign peoples, framing a belief in expansion or recovery of formerly territories through its militaristic means. So, that is the expansionist nationalism. So, fourth is romantic nationalism. Romantic nationalism is the type of patriotism within the honor of individuals. It's presides over. So, romantic nationalism are celebration of the nation defined by its language, history, and cultural character as an inspiring ideal for artistic expression and the instrumentalization of that expression in ways of raising the political consciousness. So, that is the fourth types of nationalism, which is the romantic nationalism. So, fifth types of nationalism is cultural nationalism. So, what is the cultural nationalism? Cultural nationalism, the country is described by shared culture, not surely civic or ethic. A traditional culture can be more readily integrated into the lives of any person, particularly if the person can obtain his or her abilities at an early point of his or her own lives. Cultural nationalism generally refers to ideas and practices that relate to the intended revival of a purported national community culture. So, that is the fifth types of nationalism. So, now, we will proceed to the six types of nationalism. The number 6 types of nationalism is third world nationalism. Third world nationalism occur in those nations that have been colonized and exported. Third world is an outdated and derogatory phrase that was been used historically to describe a class of economically developing nation. So, that is the 6 types of nationalism. So now, the 7 types of nationalism, which is the liberal nationalism. So, liberal nationalism is a kind of nationalism lately defined by political philosophers who think that a non-acceptable form of nationalism compatible with liberal values of liberty, tolerance, equality, and individual rights can exist. Liberal nationalism is an impressive attempt to tie together a wide range of issues often keep apart personal autonomy, cultural membership, political obligation, particularly versus impartiality in moral duties and global justice. So, that is the number 7 types of nationalism, the liberal nationalism. So, number 8. The number 8 types of nationalism is religious nationalism. Religious nationalism, nationalism connection to a specific religious faith, church, or application. This relationship can be broken down into two aspects. The politicization of religion can be broken. The, the politicization of religion and the influence of religion on politics. So, the support of a national identity comfortable to a shared ethnicity, language, or culture is another political element of religion. More ideological is the impact of religion on politics, where present interpretations of religious concept inspire political activism and actions. So that is the number 8 types of nationalism. So number 9. Number 9 types of nationalism is pan-nationalism. So pan-nationalism is a specific terms used mainly in social sciences as a designation for those forms of nationalism that are trying to transcend or overcome traditional boundaries of basic national identities in order to create a higher pan-national identity based on various common denominators. So that is the number 9 types of nationalism. So number 10. Number 10 types of nationalism is diaspora nationalism. So generally refers to nationalism feeling among a diaspora such as the Irish in the United States, Jew around the world after the explosion from Jerusalem 586 BCE. So the Lebanese in the Americas and Africa, or Americanians in Europe and the United States. So that is the number 10 types of nationalism. So now, number 11. Number 11 types of nationalism is stateless nationalism. So, a stateless nation is an ethnic group or nation that does not possess its own state and is not the majority population in any nation. State is not the majority population in any nation state. So, that is the number 11 types of nationalism. So, number 12. Number 12 types of nationalism is national conservatism. So, what is national conservatism? National conservatism is a variant of conservatism common in Europe and Asia that concentrates on upholding national and cultural identity, usually combining this nationalist concern with conservative stances promoting traditional values. So that is the number 12 types of types of nationalism. So the number 13. Number 13 types of nationalism is revolutionary nationalism. Revolutionary nationalism is a broad label that has been applied to many different types of nationalist political movements that wish to achieve their goals through revolution against the established order. So, that is the number 13, which is the revolutionary nationalism. So, so the last types of nationalism is left-wing nationalism. So, left-wing nationalism or leftist nationalism, also known as social nationalism, is a form of nationalism based upon national self-determination, popular sovereignty, and social equality. Left-wing nationalism can also include anti-imperialism and national liberation movement. So, that is the last types of nationalism. So, that is all the types of nationalism. So, now, we are going to tackle you about the patriotism. Patriotism or national pride is a sense of love, dedication, and attachment to a country, an alliance with other people who share the same impression. Patriotism also refers to the passionate love one has for their country. This virtue pushes to citizens of a country to work for their country selflessly and make it better. A truly developed country is made up of true patriots. Patriotism can be specifically seen during times of war. So, that is the patriotism. So, now, we will going to proceed the kinds of patriotism. So, in kind of patriotism, there are three kinds, which is patriotism of duty, patriotism of affection, patriotism of manners. So first is patriotism of duty. Patriotism of duty presents the duty of special concern for the well-being of one's country and compatriots as a device for assigning to individuals some universal duties. Patriotic duties owes its moral force to the moral force of those universal duty. So that is the patriotism of duty. So, second, patriotism of affection. Patriotism of affection, this is the kind of patriotism that comes from the heart. It's about one's inherent burning for the well-being of this country. The patriotism of duty can be observed in the patriotism of affection, but it does not always heed to it. One can potentially fulfill a patriotic obligation while remaining apathetic towards the country's well-being. So, third kinds of patriotism is patriotic patriotism of manners. This is both written and unwritten patriotism. During the national anthem, the particip, the particip, the patriotism of manners is to place one's hand over the heart. It can be alone by anyone, regardless of their level of passion or patriotism. So that is the kinds of patriotism. So now we will proceed to the types of patriotism. So types of patriotism, there are three types, which is personal patriotism, official patriotism, symbolic patriotism, and peacetime patriotism. So first is personal patriotism. Patriotism. Personal patriotism is emotional and voluntary. The patriot adheres to certain patriotic values such as respect for the flag or the honoring of veterans. Number 2, official patriotism. Official patriotism relies heavily on symbolic acts such as displaying the flag, singing the national anthem, saying a pledge, and etc. So third, symbolic patriotism. Symbolic patriotism represent a relatively abstract, affective attachment to the nation and its core values. So that is the symbolic patriotism. Third is fourth. The last types of patriotism is peacetime patriotism. Peacetime patriotism cannot be so easily linked to a measurable given for the state, but the patriot does not say it as inferior. So that is the types of patriotism. So now, difference between patriotism and nationalism. So the difference between patriotism and nationalism is patriotism is of its nature defensive, both military and culturally. It is a support for one's country because you feel pride in it and a belief in the values of that country, whereas nationalism is inseparable from the desire for power. Instead of just a positive feeling of pride in your country, nationalism is a feeling of superiority. So, that is the difference between patriotism and nationalism. So, that's all for my report today. So, thank you and God bless.